Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado, and we appreciate you tuning in this morning. We have a very custom, very special trailer sitting behind me. It is a 2022 Cimarron Showstar LX with a ton of options, mainly air ride. But we're gonna walk you through this entire trailer. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing of the trailer so I can kind of show you some specs and how this trailer is laid out. So since it is a LX model, you're going to start off with 8 foot wide to begin with. That is standard. It is 28 foot on the floor. It is 6'8" tall. It is a 6 foot front tack room. And then again, as we walk you through the pin system, I'll kind of give you some more dimensions because we've done some things a little bit different. But this is a custom build trailer. This one is already sold, but I want you to see this trailer because this is more of our loaded up trailers that we've built here recently. I'll walk you through it. Bear with me. There's a lot to go over. I might kind of bounce around a little bit. I don't want to miss anything as we start and show you this trailer. Let's start off right at the nose. So if we get in front of this trailer, I want you to notice that it's a V-nose. This is an air ride trailer with a V-nose. And these things cut through the wind. They are awesome. We're going to do some testing when we get eventually 2 like trailers, and we want to do that on our warm blood extra tall trailers, a standard nose versus a V nose. And I will tell you that there will be a big difference in miles per gallon. Rough estimates, kind of some testing we've done, is anywhere from 2 to 3 miles per gallon better with a V nose compared to the standard nose. And it also helps because we're dealing with an 8 foot wide trailer. So that's the very first thing I want you to notice. The other thing too is the Cimarron doesn't come to a very abrupt and sharp point on their V noses. There is some radius to it. It gives it some width. So from that standpoint, I mean, when I'll show you when we get into the tack room, we're not losing a lot of storage space up in this nose. Underneath, we have the enclosed front end. These are so cool because it keeps everything behind there nice and clean in transit, but I think it really dresses these trailers up when you're looking at them from an aesthetic standpoint. There is also some benefit to it. You know, we're not catching that wind behind the pickup. With this style of nose, I mean, it can kind of work as a little bit of a parachute, but with this enclosure, it's going to push the wind off of it. And then, like I mentioned, it's going to keep everything behind here clean. So we got kind of a few things going on here. First thing, we have our spare tire located to the left of the jack. You get the aluminum wheel, so you don't get aluminum wheels on the ground and then a steel trying to cheapen up somewhere. You get 5 of those aluminum wheels all the way around. There is that single leg electric over hydraulic jack with a manual override, so it's very responsive, up and down very easily. But in emergency situations, we can get this off the truck or onto the truck. So that's a system that Cimarron likes to use, and we like that they use them, and we put them on all of our Cimarrons. So over here to the right, we have a generator bracket. I'll show you when we get to the inside. It does have a 30 amp breaker package because we do have an AC unit, but they can locate their generator right there. Up above, over to the right, it's up, tucked underneath the nose here, but that is our 30 amp plug where we'll actually plug into, and you do get a cord with it as well. You get your aluminum battery box. Standard on the 22 models, you get the battery disconnect. That is a major option, and something that we've done before they even started making it standard on the 22s whenever we're dealing with these electric hydraulic jacks. Because if we accidentally leave a light, which there's a lot of lights on this trailer, if we accidentally leave a light on somewhere, it's going to drain our battery. Then you're going to have to do a manual, crank onto the truck or off the truck, charge up the battery, those type of scenarios. So when we park this trailer or walk away from it, we can reach up there, turn off that disconnect, and it kills all power to this trailer. So if we do leave a light on, we're not draining that battery. The other thing is there's expanded metal on the bottom there. So it does work as a little bit of a floor. Whenever we're dealing with generators in these, I mean, we have this enclosure. We do recommend that if you're not going to have your generator running going down the road because of exhaust and the heat in here, but when they get to places that can fire that up, it will allow that exhaust to go out, and it's not going to get as hot in this enclosed area from that standpoint there. Over to the left, tucked on the other side, is our air ride control. So it is a onboard compressor. It's all self-contained. You basically turn it on, roll it to the raised position, and you go down the road. If you're then, when you go to park, it's simple. You turn it off, you put it in the lower position, and there's a cable underneath that we can just pull to go ahead and release any air pressure. We want to get rid of that condensation in those air lines because those can freeze and crack and then cause issues there. There is also 4 hooks, big hooks up there, so haul in any type of like extension cords, hoses. That's a great place for those. They're big, they're deep, so you can really set those items on those hooks. Just additional storage for you. One of the last things we do up underneath here is we put a 16-inch awning light, and that's so it shines back here at this area. So if you're needing to get that spare, if you're doing some other stuff, loading, unloading, you have this light because our cargo light, you know, on the back of the cab of the pickup is blocked by the nose, so you kind of are limited on light coverage. So this is something we do on quite a few of these enclosed front ends just to give you a little bit more light coverage underneath here. You've got the wraparound nose. That's standard on these LX models. This is polished, so all the extrusion on this trailer is polished. It's real sharp. When we get it all shut up, when we get to the end of the video, we'll kind of shut some things up as we go, and we'll give you a good look at that. But you get the white sheeting with the polished. It just works really well, and I mean, really dresses this trailer up very nicely. You also have button lights on the top rail. Those are standard on the 22 models. Now they upgraded to a few extra on this one. There's 7 per side on the top rail of this one, where normally on this size of trailer you'd probably get 3. You're going to get 7 on this one, is what they upgraded to. The other thing I want you to notice is there's 3 more of those 16-inch awning lights on that top rail. There's 3 on passenger side and 3 on driver side. So again, a lot of light coverage. We understand that you're going to be, you know, loading, unloading at night, maybe working off the trailer in the dark. We want a lot of light coverage throughout the trailer. They sure added quite a few of those items to this trailer we're looking at. So we're looking at 2 ramps folded down. We're going to start with the front one because this is going to go into our front tack room. Now, you have to go with typically a 5-foot front tack room for the bracing that we need for a fold down ramp. We're noticing tack rooms continue to get bigger and bigger. People want a little bit more storage. So again, this one's a 6-footer. So a lot of custom items in here as well. But boy, those ramps coming into these tack rooms, they make a world of difference. If you're hauling bigger equipment, instead of having to lug them up and through the door, you know, you have that ramp, so it's real easy transition. And coming on and off this, it's really nice from that standpoint. So let's start as we're looking at the ramp to the right. 48-gallon half moon water tank. This is gravity feed, but now they can carry some water on hand with them, maybe from home, maybe finicky animals, anything like that. At least you have some water on board. Then there's a pass-through door that goes into our stall area. So now you can work between the two, the tack room and the stall area. Maybe you're getting ready for a show, maybe you're prepping some feed. Now you can prep it right here and step right into that stall area. If we have a side ramp coming into a tack like we're standing in, I will always say you need to put a door on it, whether it's that pass-through door or this man door over here. And the reason why is if that if that side ramp gets shut, you can't get out of this. So from a safety standpoint, I like to do an additional door. This one, they've got access from every side of the trailer and then going back into the stall area. This is one thing that they wanted. They wanted the rubber mat all the way around. So you'll notice rubber mat on this partition wall. You've got big hooks up top as well. More storage. These are utility hooks. These are aluminum powder coated, so they're really stout. One thing that I give Cimarron a lot of credit for is over the years we've always used old bridle hooks that we see on our horse trailers. Well, they're closer together, they're not very tall, and they're not very deep. Well, that doesn't work when we're dealing on the livestock side, again, with big cords, big hoses, those type of items. you know, you'd have to use 3 or 4 of those smaller hooks to hold those, and they're usually trying to fall off. Well, these are a lot deeper off the wall and taller, so you can really hang some, you know, bigger items on these actual hooks. So you got 4 of those. Then they wanted their cargo airliner tracks to basically bring some items in here, store them against the wall, and secure them down. They had specific heights for these. Very simple to do. It's just a note on the actual order list. Then when they are actually manufacturing, they measure up from the floor, specific height on the lower, specific height on the upper. And then as we transition over to the gooseneck drop wall, same thing. Rubber here. They wanted rubber all the way across. And then again, additional airliner track at their specific heights that they wanted. As you get up into the gooseneck area, there's rubber on the deck up here. And I want you to notice, again, because of the depth of these Cimarrons, they're usually 8'2" on the depth of a nose of a Cimarron. But on this, because of that enclosed front end, you get a 9 foot. So it's deeper that way. And again, because of that V doesn't come to a sharp point, there is still a lot of room in this deck area compared to other manufacturers and their V-nose options. Here's our 30 amp breaker package. So again, our plug was right below that I showed you. There's the actual breaker. We've got an outlet there. There's also an outlet on the other side. But then there is a shelf with a close rod between the tack door and then that gooseneck drop wall. So here it has a lip. You can store some items up here. You also have some an actual close rod so you can hang items there. And then there's this tube that goes across the deck. This is removable, so it's very easy. So right now it can kind of hold some smaller items. We've got some boxes for their combo locks, the actual cord for the 30 amp, but it holds those items up there so they don't slide off during transition. But if they wanted to remove this, they can do that. So they've got rubber on the deck, rubber on the doors, and then rubber on the floor itself. Now, because we have dual access points from the outside of the trailer, normally Cimarron puts the light switch by the man door, which there is one right here. But a lot of times we'll have stuff loaded in here. We'll maybe jump in on this side. I can't get to the light switch. So we've been going in and putting an additional light switch. We like them up high, out of the way by these ramps. And that way it's just so it doesn't get bumped or anything like that. But you can open up this side ramp, reach up here, turn this light on or off. A lot of light in here. So they have LEDs above each door and then 2 up in the nose. So there's a lot of light coverage in this trailer, which works really well because of, you know, all the rubber matting. You're dealing with that black color in there. So from that standpoint, it darkens these tack rooms up a little bit, but they really did a good job on adding a lot of lights. So you have a ton of coverage in there. The other thing too, and I know Jody, our cameraman, really appreciates it. Anytime we're dealing with these side ramps and these type of trailers, you can hit your head, but they do have the pads above these doorways when you go in there. The customer actually is tall, and that was one thing that we discussed is, hey, let's get some head padding so we're not hitting our head. And it will happen, but now it's not going to hurt near as bad if we didn't have that. So before we get into the stall area, because we're going to take you in there, there's a lot going on in there. I want to talk a little bit out here. So we have a lot going on. We have our side ramp down, and then we have a gate going over that opening. Now, normally that gate's not that tall, but they wanted specifically that height. They really wanted to close it off. So we extended it up further. So we have that. We can drop these ramps, have it opened up to where now we can get a lot of airflow through. So if they're stopped or waiting to check in somewhere, or showing off this trailer, more airflow into the trailer is better. And of course it's no climb, so the bars are going vertical, so we can't have animals climbing up it. We have our drop windows. That's standard on LXs as well. So you're gonna have a drop at each one. I'm gonna go ahead and shut them up so you can kind of see what that looks like. And then our lower air gap has the fold down air slat. So these are fantastic from the standpoint of if we get somewhere early in the morning, or leaving the house early in the morning, it's real cool. We know it's going to warm up. Instead of having plexiglass that we have to pull out, you know, it's real simple to just walk by and flip those down. It's a bigger air opening compared to the plexiglass as well. So get more airflow, especially on these smaller animals. Getting airflow down there to them is real important. So we're a big proponent of that. We put that on a lot of these type of trailers. So you've got your lower air gaps there. Amber turn signal. This is something that we've been putting on a lot of our 8 wide trailers, longer trailers, living quarters, because this works as a blinker, a brake light, and then also just an extra marker light. So the more indicators we can give the people around us, because they don't really pay attention too much to trailers, the better. So if we have somebody, you know, kind of at the back of the trailer and they can't see your turn signal there, they're too far ahead, this one will be flashing so they can see that, because your truck is up there quite a ways. But we really like these amber turn signals. We go in and add those to a lot of our inventory. Air ride suspension. Let's talk a little bit about that. I talked about the compressor up front, but one of the most common things you'll hear from customers that pull these Cimarrons with air ride is they will not pull another trailer without air ride. That's how much they enjoy them, how well they pull, and how much they believe in them. These animals are a major investment, just like these trailers are. We spend a lot of time on them. Let's give them the best opportunity to get to a show and compete at the highest level. A lot of our customers that are traveling all over the country, going for long shows, they will typically tell you they can cut a day off the front end of their trip from a recovery standpoint because the animals ride so much better. So think about you being gone, additional day of food, additional day of lodging. I mean, it can add up, maybe even extra labor that you got to haul with you. So if we can cut those type of deals off, it isn't an added expense to this trailer, but when you break that down over the long life that you're going to have the trailer, the miles and all the shows, it's minimal and it is well worth it. So these animals are going to ride so much better with this air ride. You'll notice a lot of animals will lay down like they're in a barn because they feel like that's where they're at. They upgraded to G-rated tires over the 10 plies, so a little bit heavier duty tire. You get a little bit more sidewall as well as far as height. So this trailer, you know, when it's aired up, you know, it does pick the box up. So whenever we're loading equipment and animals, I tell customers all the time, load those first, and right before you go, roll it to the raised position so then it picks up, because our ramps are steeper when it's up higher. So if we have the trailer lower, you know, that step up and then those ramps aren't as steep. So that's definitely something we recommend. These are nitrogen filled and balanced tires as well. Nitrogen filled tires don't fluctuate as drastically as far as air pressure goes, as far as the PSI levels in them themselves. If you have a low tire, you can put air to it. You're perfectly fine. But a lot of tire distributors are going to the nitrogen, so you can go get them filled after the fact if you need to. If you catch a nail, road debris, blowout, you take some pictures of some codes and you can send it in, and you have a 1-year no questions asked warranty on these tires from Lion's Head, who Cimarron uses. You'll actually work directly through Lion's Head, not through Cimarron on that. But they do stand behind the tire there, and then you have 2 years of roadside assistance as well. So their ride is amazing. It really does make a big difference when we're pulling these trailers. So let's go into this stall area. We'll start up here at the front, because what we're looking at is this is actually based off of a 10-pin trailer, but it's a 15-pin. And the 15-pin, because when you come in here, you will notice that we have an additional deck over the driver's side pins. So 5 more sets of pins above our driver's side 5 pins there. So again, it's a 10-pin, but it's actually a 15-pin. There's also some extra things that we've done here. So let's talk a little bit about what we got going on here. Again, we've got the removable deck. So we can remove this and just go with a 10-pin, or as it's set up right now, a 15-pin. Got the feeder rods, so we can hang some buckets or feeders from there. As you notice over the escape door over there, there's gates over excuse me, the top and lower part of that. So again, we're trying to keep animals nice and safe, and you nice and safe as well. Then we've got our pins In this very first compartment, this is a larger compartment. They wanted a little bit oversized pin in the first one from the standpoint of, hey, they just wanted that little extra. So normally you're in that 48-inch lengthwise of these pins, where this one here is 67. Just went a little bit bigger. But these are also adjustable. So these lowers can go from 50-50 to 60-40 if we wanted to make these driver's side pins a little bit bigger from the standpoint, and then having an actual alleyway. You'll also notice it looks like, and our guys said it this morning perfectly, it looks like there's actually bedding in here, but that is worm flooring. This was the color option that the customer picked. Worm flooring, we're big fans of it on these Cimarrons because it's permanent and it's unpenetrable. So we don't have to pull mats out whenever we're cleaning it, and urine isn't going to make its way down to the aluminum floor that we're standing on here. So that's going to give the longevity and life to that floor. While we're talking about that, it is a 4-inch center floor. It is the best floor on the market. So 4 inches is each one of those supports if you look underneath this trailer. So it's a 12-inch deck that locks into place. It's the same flooring that you'll notice underneath the deck itself. That is the exact same floor they use that we're standing on that they use for this. So what we have is we have a 12-inch piece, and you'll also notice that we have this V-truss in the middle. So that adds about 60% shear force strength stronger than the previous floor. So these anchor points that we're looking at are every 4 inches. So it's really stout, the best floor on the market. Let's keep working through this because there is a lot. Right above me is an air conditioner. So now they can actually turn this air conditioner on, really circulate air throughout this entire trailer. We have an insulated roof. So from that standpoint, compared to aluminum sheeted roof trailers, it'll keep the stall area about 20% cooler. That's standard on every single Cimarron. So again, keeping animals more comfortable. So now we have an insulated roof, we have an air conditioner. It's going to be powered off our 30-amp breaker package that we saw in the front tack room. And then we've lined and insulated all the sidewalls and down to the floor. So that insulation makes a massive difference on what it can do for the stall area and just the performance of that air conditioner. In my opinion too, when you worm floor a trailer like this, you're almost getting another set of insulation on the floor itself. So when you're traveling in the colder winter months, cold roads, going through ice, snow, I think it works as additional insulation for the animals from that standpoint. The other thing is we have this rail that goes a couple feet off the back as well. But now what we can do is we can actually have these brackets that we can hang fans from. A Schaefer 12-inch barn fan works really well because it doesn't hang down like the 24-inch fans. They're not as big and bulky. So now we've got the ability to set these where we want and then actually run fans because we have outlets, 3 of them, kind of spaced evenly here in this stall area in this top rail. You'll also notice an additional set of light switches here as well. If you're working off the side of the trailer, you can actually turn on your interior lights here in the stall area and then the load lights on passenger side. There's switches at the back, but now again we can kind of work off of each side of the trailer itself. So again, we've got more LED lights in here. We've got LED lights in the top rail on both sides. We have 2-way roof vents. So again, with all the insulation, insulated roof, air conditioner, 2-way roof vents, we can manipulate airflow throughout here. The lower air gap that I showed you on the outside, you can really keep this trailer nice and cool, or button it up and keep it a little bit warmer for them when you are traveling in those winter months as well. So as we walk through here again, we've got the 10-pin system. We've got the gates. We'll get to the back and I'll show you how these gates function from a 60-40 standpoint. But as we get to the back, you'll also notice we have a gate over these openings, and again it extends up because they wanted them a little bit taller. And then again, there's our head pads. So we'll step out here and we'll just look. This is a good view of this deck. So we've got a gate, going into the back as well to those left-hand sided pins, and then up top as well. So you've got gates from each side, gates in the middle. You know, everything can be removed. That's the cool thing about this whole system. I mean, if we all of a sudden just wanted one big stall area, completely open it up, all of this hardware can be removed. Normally on a 10-pin system that we're not dealing with the deck, I can take everything out myself in about 5 minutes and put everything back in about, you know, 10, maybe 15. But I mean, if you have help, it always makes things go a little bit quicker. One of the keys is really marking where everything goes, especially our upright posts. You know, maybe making a mark 1, 2, 3, 4 as you work back. That way you know what order they go back in to the actual trailer itself. But we're gonna do another video that will have, we kind of do some kind of shorter clips on some of these options. But here at the back, this is a good view. So again, this deck runs off of this rail that we have on each side, but I can undo these bolts here, and then I can start sliding these deck pieces out. And then I just work my way forward and they just slide completely out. You know, this one here is specifically for the back, but pretty much everything forward, I mean, you can go in about any order. Again, it's tongue and groove, so it locks in high and low. So it's really strong when it's actually in here as well. Now, on these 60/40 setups, again, right now we're set at a 50/50, but it's real simple. You just break it loose from the post, pull back, it sets in these rubber sockets, and as simple as that, we go from a 50/50 setup to a 60/40. So very quickly we can jump and do different size pins in this setup itself. So very functional and very easy for the operator to actually use. We've got a load light at the back here as well. And then if you look up top, we have a hay pod on top of this. Now, we normally see our hay pods on our horse trailers, you know, some cattle trailers, but they are traveling obviously with a lot of animals, need to take a lot of feed. You know, that is easily a 10, 12 bale hay pod up there. And with the pod, it's not just a rack where you set them in there and then it's kind of exposed to the elements. That pod is fully sealed, so it protects it from weather, protects it from, you know, the moisture getting in there to the hay itself. So great addition there. Also, wraparound hinges. Now, normally on a lot of Cimarrons, they're welded hinges here at the back with greasers, but then we're limited where these doors will come off on a 90 and wing out, to where we really like the wraparound hinges on our livestock kind of show trailers like this, because if you are at places, you know, you can swing them out of the way, get them against the trailer, actually secure them with the holdbacks. But you know, this has become very, very popular. We order all of our inventory with these wraparound hinges like this, from that standpoint of just, again, if you're showing and parked next to somebody, again, we don't have those winged out. We can get them around the trailer itself. They are 50/50 doors and they are independent. So I can open the left ahead of the right or vice versa. It's not yet going a certain order. We can lock all these doors and windows as well. Everything's keyed the exact same. So these doors, our drop windows, our ramps, tack door, everything has one key. You also have 50/50 rear ramps. So these are split ramps. So again, if we wanted to open up one side, we could, or we can drop them both how they are right now. Now, to get up there to that hay pod is an easy angle ladder. So instead of a bolt on that you got to climb up the side of the trailer straight up, especially when it's wet, it is not fun because you can slip, hit your shin, probably say some bad words. It's happened to me. As you can tell, it's in my memory. I love easy angle ladders. You can add these to other trailers as well, not just Cimarrons. So we do have customers add them through our parts and service department. But now, by extending this, now I can go up that. I can actually carry something with me to where your bolt on, you got to go straight up, and you're going to need both hands going up that. So that easy angle, it actually works great too because it stores behind these rear ramps when we go to set it back in. But that's a real nice transition from ground up there to that pod. And we set it forward a little bit, the pod, so you can actually work off the back of the trailer. It's not right at the back, so you can actually stand up there. That insulated roof is really, really stout. It'll take substantial hail I can walk on these roofs and it won't dent them. So really strong from that standpoint. Again, we've got 3 more of those 16-inch awning lights here at the exterior. Kind of 2 back at the stall area and then 1 up ahead above the tack door. But again, here's our drop windows with jail bars, so it, you know, protects the livestock from that standpoint. Real easy to use. Again, they can be locked, so it has the same key. And again, as you can see with this fold down, how easy it is to walk by, open and close everything. And then we've got a door, again, going into the first stall there. Got the additional gates over that. But again, now there's a lot of access into the stall area, into the tack room. I mean, everybody wants to be able to really flow and work off of these trailers. And by having, you know, multiple tack doors, ramps, access doors like this, real simple working in and off of these trailers. There's also steps. As you can see, if we didn't have these steps, you'd have to go from where I'm standing up over this ledge. That's a pretty healthy step. Now this makes this transition so much better. That's about an 8-inch gap right there that we're dealing with. So if you're carrying items, whether it's feed on and off, tack on and off, boy, just walking in, it makes a big difference having those steps themselves on there. And then they're just gas shocks, just like those fold down steps or fold down air slats. So they fold up really, really easy. There's a good look at that polished extrusion with the white. Again, it's the bottom extrusion, aluminum itself, the bottom rail, and then the top rail. Now, one other thing I'll show you on both of these doors here. So we've got our tack door, and then this access door is combo locks, deadbolt combo locks. So if this trailer's all locked up, as long as you don't lock, you know, these right here, all you have to do is just punch in a code and you can get into this tack room. So it's really handy from the standpoint of somebody needs to go to the trailer and get something, where are the keys, just go, you got your code, you can hop right in there. So on these Cimarrons, you get an 8-year structure warranty and a 3-year hardware warranty, which covered, you know, I mean, you're nose to tail on that. So I don't think I missed anything, but there's a good chance I did. There's a lot on this trailer. This is completely custom. This is what we can do. We can sit down with you, start scratching it out on a piece of paper, bouncing ideas off of each other. We love building custom trailers. We understand that this is a big investment. It needs to work for you. We get a lot of ideas from customers. We get a lot of ideas from customer feedback. We sit around all the time and try to think of new options. How do we make the trailers better for our customers? So we'll bounce ideas off of each other and then get to an end product like this that turned out beautiful. This is an unbelievable trailer. So I'm going to give you the stock number on it. It is sold, but if you're wanting something like it or the exact same, you can reference our stock number, which is 5N211568. It is a 2022 Cimarron Showstar LX air ride trailer. We'll call it a 15 pin because that's what it is. 10 adjustable with +5. So if you have any questions, want to talk about this trailer, building you something, what we might have in inventory, we do have used trailers as well. We do take trade-ins. We do buy trailers. If you have a trailer sitting around you want to turn into cash, give us a call. Anybody on our sales team can help you out, and that number is 303-684-3400. We appreciate you tuning in, and have a good day.